Welcome to Running Community Resources, stories that move our neighborhoods forward. Brought to you by Run It Studios and sponsored by Melanie Sutton with Keller Williams. Together, we're highlighting the people and programs helping our community run strong. Welcome back to Run It Studios. I'm Trina Wilcox, and we talk about running things metaphorically and literally. And when it comes to our community, it takes a team to get resources out, to work together, to make sure that people are living their best life. And Melanie Sutton with Keller Williams works a lot in the community with her clients to make sure they are familiar with all the resources that are available. And one of her favorites is the Drew Lewis Foundation. And Mike Stevens joins us today. Tell me a little bit about your role and what you guys do out there for the community.
Sure. I am the housing manager. I work on what's called the Blue House Project here at the Drew Lewis Foundation. We focus on creating affordable housing for the Grant Beach neighborhood primarily, but a lot of historic renovations, and increasingly we're going into new build, kind of innovative new builds like pocket neighborhoods and cottage clusters. But the Drew Lewis Foundation writ large is all about helping people that are living paycheck to paycheck, find find a better future. Especially our Rise program, which I know we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, tell me what that is. I've heard about it and I know a little bit about it, but can you expand on it and tell people how they can learn more?
Sure. So it is, you can always just reach out, rise@drewlewis.org. And it is short for Reaching Independence Through Support and Education. It's a holistic program. It's about more than adding a zero to your paycheck. It's about a complete look at your life while learning the skills to fill in the gaps. So it's a 16-week program that gives you some basic life skills, whether it's budgeting, kind of personal boundaries, stuff about home ownership. That you just if you've been living for your entire life in rentals that you wouldn't necessarily know about, amortized loans or down payment assistance programs or home insurance for that matter. So just getting people set up for success and also to even negotiate better wages at work.
How did you guys even come to terms with this being so valuable for everyone?
I think that it was just basically recognizing that there's this slice of education that if you are living in paycheck to paycheck where you're just trying to figure out, you make sure you have enough for the next. If your parents are doing that, then there's a big chunk of basic what you think of as kind of middle class education that is not available to you because your parents were too busy trying to make ends meet. And the power of education, is well established. And if you know the rules and if you know kind of some of the terms of the game, then it sets you up for greater success. So it's not rocket science. It's just basic kind of like middle class values that we're trying to, like, not values, but lessons and skills to get people a step up.
It's kind of one of those things you don't know what you don't know, and
Yeah.
nothing's wrong with that. When you, like you're saying, if you weren't taught these things or around them, then this is the time to learn about it and get that education you need to make that step towards home ownership if that's what you want. They don't always teach a lot of this in school. So,
Mhm.
you know, many people, if and even if you have bought a home in the past, you things change and you forget stuff and you just need to learn more. So I feel like this is something really valuable for so many people on so many levels.
Yeah, one of the exciting things about Rise programs, we have these great coaches that give you personalized weekly plans. Like they meet you where you're at,
Yeah.
and they give you kind of a plan on actions to overcome a barrier, or give you some research to better understand what steps to take next. They might give you a personal challenge to overcome a fear that you might have, or a step to improve your employment, education steps, or finances. So it's just, yeah, they're ready to meet you where you're at and give you the kind of those skills and challenges that you might need to see improvement in your life.
So for somebody that is thinking this could be good for me, I'm not sure. And
Mhm.
do I have what I need? Is there anything that they need? Do they just come to you Ready to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
just come. Just come.
Yeah.
We'll meet you where you're at. People come from all over. There's people that are, have never had a bank account. There's people that are actually, know quite a lot of stuff. But I've sat in on classes and I can't remember not learning something.
Oh,
Um, like there's always something that you'll come away with wherever you're at. But all they need to do is reach out here at the drewlewis.org, and there's tons of information there
how about
how to get a
ages?
hold of us.
Is this for all ages?
Yeah, it is. I think our primary members are usually parents with young children, but we have people that are 70. We have Rise Kids programs. So
Mhm.
sometimes if parents are in the Rise program, there's stuff that not only are we entertaining kids or kind of having kind of childcare options, but during those classes, we also start kind of imparting some basic skills as well, whether it's budgeting or like clothing like choices or school challenges that they might have. That's also something we do.
Very good. Anything else, other programs that you want to mention that the public could really find useful and pass along?
Well, yeah. So the Blue House Project is what I'm primarily focused on, and really, Rise is a great first step. When people are talking about home ownership, it's so intimidating for anybody to go through home. It's not something many of us do many times in our life, so it's intimidating for the first time. It's intimidating for the second time. Even if you grew up and your parents had purchased multiple homes. So I think the best thing to do is start with something like Rise, some basic education about getting you ready. So when that banker comes to ask you a million questions and the realtor has their own questions, that you're prepared and that you know where you're at financially and what you can and can't afford and what makes sense for you, whether it's buying a home or even continuing to rent. So the Blue House Project is recognizing on the other side of that we have a severe housing shortage nationwide, but in Springfield in particular, that's where we're focused, and we're really kind of like the Rise program. It's a holistic idea of saying we're looking to rebuild our community from the inside out. We're taking these not abandoned always, but like definitely homes that have been underinvested in, usually landlords that are absentee landlords that have just taking minimal rent and not making any improvements, and the houses are declining, and we buy those houses, we renovate them to a high level because we don't want people that are graduating from that Rise program to be hit with a massive a roof bill or a plumbing bill or the water heater goes out. Usually these are to the studs, new roof, new HVAC, new plumbing, foundation's good, electric is new. I mean, it's so they're set up not only for the first 10 years not to have a big bill, hopefully, but for that house to survive for another 50 years and really stabilize Grant Beach and work outwards from there. We're hoping to expand to neighboring different neighborhoods around Springfield soon.
Very good. Now, I've tried to follow along on your social media for a while now. I see some of the community doing that work. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have some volunteers today. We have actually some student athletes from Missouri State University helping us out at one of our houses at 1036 West Calhoun. They are doing, I think they are doing some hard work. They are raking rocks in the backyard because, in Springfield, especially in older neighborhoods, the backyards are usually pretty clogged with rocks, and so it's something we want to have some grass down there and have people have a nice yard they can use. And so they're over there, volunteers helping out right now, and we use volunteers all the time and we love it.
Very good. Thank you so much for sharing. Tell people one more time where they can go to get plugged in.
DrewLewis.org. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this.
No problem. Thank you so much for sharing. You can find more at that website and also runitstudios.com. Thank you.
Thank you.